everybody, welcome to the 𝐂𝐸 Way. I'm Jessica. Today's video is going to be some of our favorite pool school resources. Here in Florida, it is hot, which means if we want to get outside, we need to be in the water. So I like to spend a lot of our summer in the pool. And that means that sometimes I get just a little creative with learning in the water in the pool. So there are a ton of really fun like waterproof games. There are also some games that you can play that aren't necessarily waterproof but work great. And there are a few resources that I really like to have on hand for learning when we're in the pool. So if you have a pool or if you travel near water, the beach, something like that, these resources are probably for you. Okay, one of my favorite things is I call it floating table. We used to have a square one. We have a round one now because it just works better with the three of us. This is technically like one of those that has like the cup holders and everything in it, which we have used it for that, but I just typically flip it over and this is like a pool noodle. And then we can just like play on top of it because it floats. We can lay our cards or whatever it is that we're playing in the pool on top of it. It's also really great for snacks. So if you're somebody who likes to do snacks in the pool, I mean, maybe not a public pool, but a private pool, like your own pool, it's great for that. We also have a waterproof speaker. This one can be submerged for like, I don't know, an hour or something. We've never actually done it. We really like using it for music, audiobooks. It's great for that. We listen to a lot of audiobooks or even podcasts when we're out at the pool. And then all of us have a Kindle. This happens to be Emily's, but we all have a Kindle. So we will read while we float. Sometimes I will even read aloud to Emily. So we all can share the books because we have a family account. So I'll have a lot of her books on my Kindle as well so that I can read aloud to her while we're floating. And then I'm going to go ahead and share like the actual waterproof pool type stuff. And then I have a few other things that I pulled that would work for the pool, even though it's not like marketed as waterproof. The first thing I have are these aqua bingos. So one is a Fun in the Sun edition, and then we have another one that is the animal edition. Basically, you have a bingo board and you have like bingo chips, and the chips sink. So you kind of are trying to like race to the bottom to get whatever sunk down and race to get bingo. So we will each leave a bingo card on the table. We'll dive down to get the chips. And that's how we play that personally. We have Guess in 10 Splash. You guys know that we love the Guess in 10 games. This one is waterproof and it's animals. We have Seek and Splash. So you have the different colorful gem cards and the actual gems like sink to the bottom of the pool. And so you're like racing to find the next card. Again, we'll put the card on the floating table and we all try to race to see like who can do it first. This is a Seek and Splash number dive. So it is similar. You have a deck of cards and we play that you have to get any numbers that will like make that. So for example, 81, you can get 2 9s and then you come up and you say like 9 times 9 is 81. But basically you have to come up with like an equation that equals the card and the numbers sync. So again, we're racing for that. We have aqua blocks. So this container is not the greatest. It's actually like pattern blocks. So the mats themselves are waterproof and then the pattern blocks will sink. And so you, again, there's like 3 different levels of difficulty and you will dive to get those and try to complete the picture. We have Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. It is a waterproof version. Poolside. We have waterproof Spot It. Somewhere we have Uno Splash. It's probably in a beach bag because we have a waterproof version of Uno, but I can't find it anywhere now. We also have just a waterproof deck of cards. Actually, we have a couple different versions. This is another just waterproof deck of cards. And then these happen to be like clear. So it kind of, we have 2. Normally one's in a beach bag, one's in the pool. Can go either way. We like to play just anything. Crazy Eights. Solitaire if you're playing by yourself, Emily and I will also do math and play like regular war, and then we'll play addition or even multiplication war. So we'll flip 2 cards and we either add them or multiply them. We did a lot of that when she was learning her math facts in general, but doing it in the pool just makes it a whole lot more fun. We have this new one that we just got for Emily. It's called Color Hits. It's like tag except with balls. So if you're hit with red, you're tagged. Yellow means you're frozen. And your hands go up, and green sets you free. Get ready to swim at your fastest and dodge the colorful balls in this game of pool freestyle. We haven't played this one yet. I really expect that one to be more like when her cousins and friends come over. I'm sure she'll probably talk us into playing at some point, but I'm not sure that that's going to be one that Kevin and I play with her frequently. Ring push is another fun one. You have all these colorful rings, and then you also have these different cards, and you have to like have the rings on your hand in the correct sequence. So it's not just to find the rings, but you have to come up with them in whatever pattern that the card was when you dove down. So those are most of like the pool water marketed things that I have. But I also want you to keep in mind that anything that is mostly like a tile laying game or a dice game that doesn't require paper is technically waterproof. So dice are waterproof. I mean, unless you're using like, I don't know, paper dice. Dice are waterproof. And most of your tile laying games are waterproof. Not Scrabble, because that's a wooden tile. But these are all games that we have that are not like a pool game that we have used near or in the water. Bananagrams, this happens to be Bananagrams Dual. It's dice instead of, you can't use the paper banana things though. So you can just take like the Bananagram dice out. You can even keep it in the plastic thing because that would be fine too. And Emily and I will play this one, or she'll play it with Kevin. That's why I have this one with our pool stuff, because it's more likely that only 2 people are going to play in our household since we have an only child. So Bananagrams Dual, but your regular Bananagrams would work too. We also have Moby dice, which are basically, Moby tile game. These are basically just tiles, like math tiles. And your tiles would be waterproof, so you could play this. You would need, again, so in things like this, I would take, like in this situation, because this little bag that it comes in is not going to be waterproof, I will take these dice out and just put them in a Ziploc bag. And like that's how I would carry them. Same thing with Sudoku. It's a similar tile laying math game. You kind of need to know how to play beforehand because you're not going to take the instructions out to the water with you. But in this case, I just ditched that, and I have a Ziploc bag full of tiles, and then this is waterproof. I don't have to worry about it. Same thing with like math dice. This happens to be Math Dice Junior, but we have Math Dice Junior, and essentially it's just a dice game. Roll a Story. These are just dice, and you literally are rolling them, and they have like pictures on them to tell a story. You could also take the story dice out. You just wouldn't want to take them in the box. This bag just happens to be like a waterproof type of bag that this comes in, so we use that instead. But your story dice would work as well. Lumps is a dice game that's just dice. Now, you can actually play to a certain score, but we take this up instead of, if we play in the house, we write our scores on a piece of paper. But if we play in the pool, we keep our scores in our head. So that's like a whole nother level of mental math going on in the pool because we don't have a piece of paper. Same thing with Pass the Pigs, the little piggies themselves. I mean, maybe if you left them submerged in water for like hours, the little dots might come off, but we haven't had any problem with the individual pigs. So you can use the little pigs and you can roll them. You just would need to keep your score in your head, or, you know, dry your hand enough that you could write it on the side of the pool. They do make like waterproof grease pens and pencils. We don't love them. We've tried them. So we just go the extra mile and make, you know, mental math. Roll the Bones is basically just a dice game. There's different variations, and you just have a tin full of different dice. So You figure out whatever variation you want to play. And really, you could even take the 10 out there because nothing's really going to happen to the 10. But again, I would just put the dice in a Ziploc bag because then you really don't have to worry about it. And then the last one that I have is Cobra Paw. This is one of Emily's favorite. And depending on how like snatchy you get, it can get really interesting because, you know, the table is wobbly. But in this game, you have 2 dice that you're rolling that have different symbols on them. And you have all of these tiles, they kind of look like dominoes, laid out. And basically you're trying to be the first one to grab the one that matches whatever you rolled. So the tiles and the dice are safe. You just wouldn't want to take the actual box. But this one can get really interesting. Because like I said, if you're playing on like the floating table, it kind of will start getting wobbly the more active you get. And so you're trying to grab and it's like maybe running away from you. So this one is a lot of fun. If you have a waterproof game or a pool school resource that I didn't mention, please let me know down in the comments so I can add it to our summer of fun.